we are wrestling with AEW All Out. It took place last Saturday at the Wow Arena. Attendance was 8,660.
That's it?
Yeah.
God damn! What the fuck?
I mean, it's a pretty decent house for AEW, if I'm being honest.
I remember that was like 15, 16.
Yeah, they haven't done that since CM Punk left.
I mean, I'm about to see. I'm looking at Brian Meltzer's star rating. So.
Oh God! All right.
Hey, I'm just gonna see if it aligns with ours. That's all. I actually
like that idea. So let's
us versus Meltzer.
Yes. After we give our star review, we will hear what Uncle Dave has to say afterwards.
Uncle Dave got the fucking say about this.
It's like you said, it's 8,660. That's kind of like a sneeze for WWE at this point, and it's one of the better houses AEW's done this year. They're around the 1 to 2,000 mark when it comes to arenas. I don't know if you saw recently the whole camera side, the hard cam side, was completely empty for one of their recent events. So,
I honestly, I want them to do better. Because it's better when we got different outlets and different, So, I mean, I can't speak for James. James might want them to die, but I don't want AEW to die. Because you need the variety. Variety is the spice of life. I just think that it's kind of ass backwards when you got 4 factions and they're all heel factions and they're all trying to take over AEW at the same time.
So,
but yeah, there's that. And only one can really do it, and that would be the one with the Bucks because they got the titles. Okay, but anyway.
So, I agree with you. I want AEW to do well. I want them to succeed, but I don't want it to be at the expense of the talent. And
right.
They're mutilating these guys and girls. Like, we're going to be talking about these matches, and we'll get into them because there's a lot to be said about them. But, you don't want to hear, well, somebody died in the ring, or after, they got injected by a needle and they died from shock afterwards. These guys and girls, they're hurting themselves severely. Like, how long is AEW's injury list right now? And they're not learning any new skills. They're not learning. They're actually worse for being in AEW rather than better. I mean, they're making
shock jock wrestling is what you think it is.
They're making a lot of money, and that's great that they're getting that money. But when AEW ceases to become something, or if for whatever reason they get fired, how do they bounce back from that? Because it can be a pretty devastating thing, I would say, no?
I mean, it will be, but you just don't want it to get to that. And that's the hard part. But then again, this has always been an issue with the culture. Like, they don't... Who's going to check who? Who is the voice of reason there? And if a guy like Daniel Bryan, who we know has had, like, crazy fucking injury histories, is not, what I'm saying, being that voice of reason. And the other voice of reason would be Jon Moxley, but we all know how he does. So, do you see what I'm saying? They're not going to follow what they say, they're going to follow what they do. And that is where, it could get off the wheel for them. And I don't want it to. And not every match has to be a street fight for you to get the point home. And it kind of, it's almost like, how can I put this? The shock value and what they're trying to accomplish is overpowering the wrestling and the storytelling.
Right.
Because there are stories to be told. Certain things are overshadowing it.
Right. I mean, like Toni Storm and Mariah may have been the best storyline AEW's ever produced, if I'm being honest.
Really?
Not
Hangman Page and Kenny?
It's up there, but I mean, what they've Hangman was kind of already established. Mariah May came out of nowhere, became this protege, and now she's world champion. Over Toni Storm. They actually made somebody rather than, establishing somebody. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I get it. It's just... Yeah, I think that's the... I get what you're saying, where they took someone who was relatively... I mean, but even Hangman Page wasn't known. So I get your point where, like...
Right.
How can I put it? Best stories where the actual wrestling story ended and they actually became better than what they were, you can make the argument, yeah, that's probably one of the top ones.
And also keep in mind, Kenny and Page was stop and start. It wasn't one long continuous thing.
Right. Injuries and so on and so forth, yeah.
COVID notwithstanding, Hangman had a child during that time as well, so there was a lot of things to be desired. But let's get into this show. I'm not sure how you watched it, but I actually watched it in 2 match increments each day. So I was able to actually digest what I was watching rather than just groan through 4 hours of this shit, which was can be very difficult. But I actually it made it actually more easy. It was easy. It was more easy to tolerate. Digest.
Better than me. I ate the whole pho. Hey. Ate the whole pho, my guy.
And I better give you gas.
Ooh, I mean, between them and San Diego State, yeah, they all gave me gas. Anyways.
MJF defeated Daniel Garcia in 23 minutes and 40 seconds. Decent opener. Nothing necessarily grand or fantastic about it. MJF did MJF shit. Daniel Garcia didn't do his stupid dance. MJF got the win. Went for the handshake with Daniel Garcia for whatever fucking reason. And then Garcia was able to kick him low. I guess getting some revenge? It didn't seem like the crowd was very much into this either. What is your thoughts, Kaliko?
Because it was kind of a given who was winning. I mean, we went over this card by card.
Yeah.
Mad predictable. The only match that wasn't predictable, yeah, it was mad predictable because they just had All In. So that's where it threw it out. All In followed All Out, like literally.
2 weeks.
I mean, the spacing wasn't there to give it that plausible. So,
right.
So it was a given.
It's also if you believe rumor and innuendo, um, Daniel Garcia was actually supposed to win this match, but he hasn't signed a new contract with AEW despite coming to terms with them. Um, is that maybe um, foreshadowing that he might be on his way out? That he lost this match?
I don't. I doubt it. Because even if he had that had no bearing on MJF beating the brakes off his ass. Because MJF is one of quote unquote pillar, and they're not gonna.
And he just
And
lost
and
the
he
match
had
on
he came back,
television.
beat at Will Ospreay, held the title, lost to Will Ospreay. He ain't taking two in a row.
Very true.
like, I mean, just let's just keep it a stack. He ain't taking two in a row.
Nope, you're not wrong about that. How many stars you give this one?
3.
Give it 2.5.
Ooh.
Nothing necessarily new, exciting. Nothing in any other context wouldn't have held my interest.
You don't even want to know what Meltzer gave it.
I'm going to say 4.5.
4.5.
Okay, so I'm.
Oh, this is our new one. Guess that rating. Oh, he just created a new segment on the show. I didn't do my game show shit. It's time to play Guess That Rating.
Next match, the middle-aged fucks, Matthew and Nicholas, they defeated Claudio Ida Canoli and Dord Wheeler Yuta to retain the World Tag Team Championships in 15 minutes and 45 seconds.
Why wouldn't it be one Wheeler Yuta?
Because he's the Dord Wheel. He was the Dord Wheel with Moxley and Bryan. And then they brought Canoli, and I mean, technically that makes him the fourth wheel, but that doesn't sound as fun.
Oh well. You. I just thought about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just because spoiler. So when Moxley choked the environmentalist with a paper bag.
That's one way to put it, I suppose.
The environmental champion gets choked out with a plastic bag. I thought the first thing I thought was, yeah, Moxley didn't get that payback for that William Regal shit.
Yeah.
He that just kind of went out the wayside. And who was William Regal's best friend? One of his best students?
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan. All right, there you go. It's coming full circle, people. See, they have stories. Anyways, yeah, this was another predictable match. 15 minutes. I think Claudio could have did a lot more. Some of these, my ratings go down because I kind of knew what was going to happen. Not against the match itself, but it's just I kind of figure. Even WWE, you kind of know what's going to happen, but I mean, Bash in Berlin, the crowd carried that shit. They brought in a C card and it turned into a B just because of the crowd.
Right.
Because they seemed enthused with it. But see, so yeah, predictable match. Kind of the Young Bucks did the Young Buck things, or the Exec Bucks, or the Milwaukee Bucks, or I don't know. I wonder, you know what would be better if they actually brought the rapper Young Buck to actually get them to the ring. But that's just long shot for me.
They would have to not have the final countdown for Bryan Danielson at least one time in order to bring him to perform for the Bucks.
I mean, if Young Buck comes out playing Get Buck to the Young Bucks, I think I'd be on it more.
I mean, but it's expensive, and I mean, you could have a whole event with the amount of money they pay just to have the final countdown song.
It's Young Buck. That catalog ain't that expensive.
Okay, I guess so. Um, so like I told you, I watched this show in um 2 matches a day, easy to kind of digest. I saw the Young Bucks come out, and the first thing I said was, "Fuck this," and I spit it up.
How much to make it digestible?
I could not bring myself to watch it. I knew what was going to happen. I didn't need to actually see it unfold.
Was it? I mean, so let me ask this: what is it? Because it's the same old Young Buck stuff, or is it?
They're so pretentious at this point. Like, they're not even trying to be anything new or different. They're just rehashing the same. It's like the same character but in a different skin. If you play video games.
Fortnite, I get it.
Yeah. So, and I mean, did anybody think that Claudio and Wheeler was actually going to win? They're not necessarily. They're not FTR. If this was FTR versus the Bucks, I mean, first of all, I would have said, why the fuck are they wrestling again? But, that's another thing completely.
Another day.
Yeah. I just... You know that the Young Bucks are going to do Young Buck shit. It's just going to be what they want to do the way they want to do it. I don't need to see it, if I'm being honest. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't make me interested to watch.
Oh gosh, so New Japan Young Bucks better than AEW Young Bucks.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, fair enough.
So I give this 2 fast forward bars. What say you, Kaliko?
Those are not stars, but okay. 2.5 for me.
I'm going to say Meltzer gave this 4 stars.
You're cheating, sir. Yes, he gave it 4 stars.
Wow, I am very in tune with Dave Meltzer today.
I mean, are you his cousin or something?
Oh,
Twin?
fuck no.
Where have you been?
How dare you? How dare you?
Alright.
The International House of Pancakes Championship match, Will Ospreay defeats Deadline, the son of an unwed mother, Pick-Pack.
Tupac.
Pick-Pack. It was flippy shit. It was indie shit. Actually, Pac is actually not that bad of a wrestler. I do think that he is pretty good. Despite not being able to wrestle as long as he's been able to wrestle.
Safety.
No, I mean, he gets injured a lot. So, I mean, like, in the 5 years that AEW's been a thing, he's maybe wrestled maybe 3 of them, and I'm being polite with that.
Generous.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're being generous.
But, when he does actually wrestle, he is good. And this wasn't as bad as it could have been with anybody else. So...
Bunch of flippy shit, Yeah,
I mean, if you were expecting anything different, I mean, yeah.
You don't expect a Bret Hart match with Will Ospreay and Pac.
No, 100%. So it wasn't a bad match. I'll say that.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Pretty good. Really good. Like, death-defying stuntman good.
Alright, how many stars do you give this one?
3.5 to me.
I give it... You know what? I'll give it 3.5 too. Now, I'm going to say Dave Meltzer gave this 6.5 stars.
Nah, he gave it 5.5.
Ah, I was off by a star. Okay.
Off by a star. But 5.5 stars. I didn't even think he could go past that. Like, god damn, what's his perfect match then? Shit. Oh, the Okada Omega Tokyo Dome 2. Never mind.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. All right.
Chicken and a Cargo street fight. Chris Statlander with Stokely Hathaway defeated Willow Nightingale by submission. I was pleasantly surprised by this match. Was it the best match? No, but they showed some constraint, I would say, and I did not expect Statlander to actually win. So that definitely.
That's what threw me.
Yeah. So just for the pop that I did not see her winning, I give them credit for that. That was pretty good.
I give them credit because they've been doing this whole shit where people turn heel and then they just whoop, heel gets them every time, and it's like, oh, it just took me to Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta. And I'm like, Trent Beretta beats the brakes off of his ass every turn. But when it came to the match, he just could not win. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? How come this is not translating? The math was not mathing for me. The wrestling was not wrestling. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Kills you. Kills you, those things. But I give AEW credit. They got at least this one right. It should have been Statlander winning the previous one so Willow could get this one and then move on, but they just did it in reverse and had Statlander beat her ass and move on. So I guess potato.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that this is the last match of the series, so
it has to be because Willow beat her ass in a tag, a singles, a fucking mixed tag. I was like, God damn, how many ways did Statlander go get that ass beat? And
how many ways can you beat Statlander?
I know, right? Give her a break. Break me off a piece of that. Chris Statlander don't make sense.
Yeah.
Nevertheless.
We got as our good friend like to stay in some female matches, vagina staples. We got our first ever vagina thumbtacks. So yeah, Scooter would have been very happy with that.
Oh yes. No one was very pro vagina staples like our guy.
Yeah, and now a whole new world for vagina thumbtacks. How many stars you give this one, Kaliko?
I mean, this one, the fact that Statlander won shocked the shit out of me. I will gladly give them a solid 3.5.
I gave it 3.5 as well, because I thought it was, the fact that Statlander won popped me, so, yeah. Meltzer, I say...
Guess that rating!
3 stars.
Nope.
2.5.
4 and 3/4.
The fuck? That's a lot
like,
of fucking match.
That's a lot. Who gives out 3/4 of a star?
It's like he didn't want to be offensive? Question mark?
What the fuck was that? Like 3/4? This motherfucker got some gall, boy.
Like, it's honestly low-key offensive.
Because it's like not 5, but not 4.5. You're just dangling, just floating in the middle. Not a full star, not a half star. Just past half star, not a full star. Just
yeah.
Coke Zero of star.
The four-way match for the Continental Breakfast Championship, Kazuchika Okea defeated Mark Briscoe, freshly pooped Orange Cassidy, and Kolkatska Take Shida in 15 minutes and 15 minutes straight. This match was not great. It had zero heat. Like the crowd would rather boo Don Callis than actually be invested in the guys that were actually in the ring. So which speaks volumes. And I mean, Okada was in there.
Okada. Like this guy at one point, top 10 wrestler, top number 1 wrestler in the world.
Yeah, at one point he was. Not anymore. He's wrestling Orange Cassidy. Yeah, it wasn't a great match. I don't think anybody cared about it. What say you?
It's not the Okada that I'm used to.
It's not the Okada anybody's used to.
I know, and that's my issue. I think that's probably the biggest issue. It's like, what the fuck did they do to Okada? He needs to go. What did they do to my boy? They massacred my boy.
You know?
They massacred my boy.
I felt like it was better when Okada, people they shit on TNA for making Okada Gato to Samoa Joe like over a decade ago. But I kind of feel like this is actually worse than what TNA did with Okada.
They broke Okada.
Yeah, not wrong. How many stars do you give this one?
2.
Give it. Do I want to give it 2? 1.5. I will say. Oh God, what do I want to say he gave it?
Guess that rating. Let's guess.
4 stars.
Four and a quarter.
So I'm off by a quarter. Okay.
What the fuck? My man is out here giving out quarter pounders out here. Quarter stars. Like, what the hell is that?
It's called a Crown Royal. No, it's fuck it. Oh, never mind. Next match, singles match for AEW's That Bitch Show Championship. Mercedes Monet defeated Who Are You? Shida in 16 minutes and 30 seconds. Chamomile tea was banned from ringside. I don't know why this match took place. I don't know why Shida had this match. But I don't not like Shida, but it just seemed like they just wanted Mercedes on the show, so that's why this match happened.
Well, according to how much money she getting, bitch, you on every show.
Yeah.
Like, the way she making, she get more than Okada, and Okada's broken at this point.
Yeah, and he might be broken, but he's laughing his way to the bank, I suppose.
Well, let's hope so. All right.
How many stars?
It's tough because It's like Sasha. Am I the only one who's seeing like a lot of these people falling off?
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right, just me. Okay, this match should have been better than what it should have been. With that being said, when Chamomile Tea was, or Camille was banned, I knew Mercedes was gonna beat that ass. So, 2.
I give it 2 as well. I'm assuming Meltzer gave this at least 4.5, maybe a 4.25.
2 3/4. I just don't get these 3/4. Yeah.
That was a really
interesting.
That's really bad. I mean, that's literally like the worst match on the card as of right now.
I mean, according to Meltzer, so far.
Alright. AEW World Championship match. Daniel, don't call me Brian Danielson, defeated Jack Perry.
Did you say the homie?
What?
Did you say Daniel the homie?
Don't call me Brian.
Oh, I thought you said the homie.
I mean, he could be Daniel the homie. We could call him that now.
I mean, Brian the homie. So anyways, oh gosh.
He defeated Jack Perry the Platypus in 27 minutes and 35 seconds. I would say that this match was 20 minutes too long.
Damn.
We knew who was gonna win. He won.
Yeah, we knew. He just got the bitch.
Yeah, like he won it 2 weeks ago. Like it wasn't going to be anything different. So yeah. And it was a Daniel Bryan match. There's no other way to put it. Yeah. That's kind of all I have to say about it. Kaliko?
Pretty much. I mean, there's Daniel Bryan and Jack Perry, and kind of showed you there's levels to this.
And then after the match, Christian Cage match came to maybe cash in his Money in the Bank contract that he got 2 weeks ago. I'm assuming it's a Money in the Bank. Nobody really was specific of what it was. Came out with...
Isn't it what's his face? The chip?
No, he didn't win the chip. It was just a gauntlet match.
Shit.
He came out with Damian Wayne, Martha Wayne, and Lunchasaurus. And he was stopped by Ida Cannoli, Dord Wheeler, the Bastard Pickpock, and neo-Nazi Moxicillin. They backed off. The rest of the Combat Wombats celebrated with Brian until Moxley decided to take a plastic bag, I should say, and choke Daniel Bryan with it and suffocate him on pay-per-view.
Which is weird to me.
Really, how is this not weird? How is this weird?
Because I'm trying to figure out where the fuck did the rest of the Combat Wombats go to allow him to choke a paper bag?
Well, they were in it. They were in on it, except Wheeler.
Oh, they just kicked him out. Oh,
yeah.
Baby. Oh, baby.
No longer go to door wheel. How did you feel about...
He's two-wheeler Yuta. See, Wheeler 2 Yuta. You two-wheeler Yuta. There you go. Something.
How did you feel about the plastic bag spot?
It's typical. AEW-ish. it just kind of called back, like I said. Remember, he was the Captain Planet champion.
Right. I mean, that makes it a
He
little bit funny. Yes.
He gets choked out by something you find in the river. But yeah. But I mean, I guess they're trying to hit the point home. And Moxley, at this point, I mean, ever since he's been in AEW, he's never been the PG guy, if you will. So it makes sense in his brain.
You know, I could see where people would find it to be poor taste. I didn't necessarily like the spot myself. They could have did something less and make it mean more than it was. You know, instead of saying, oh shit, Moxley, you know, turned on Brian, we're talking about, you know, the spot itself. It takes away from the actual, you know, the moment rather than the spot. So, you know, whenever you do something like that, you lose. Because you lose the meaning of what you're doing.
Well, the meaning of it is, I mean, looking at how he was speaking Wednesday, he kind of had a validity to it, because it's a lot of goddamn egos in AEW.
But no, it's not like what that, it's not what they wanted to do, it's how the crowd will interpret it. And if the crowd is feeling uncomfortable and they're feeling that this isn't, you know, right what they're doing, then it becomes lost. You know what I mean?
It does, but this is where the issue comes into play, because, and I'm just going to say this, everybody wants attitude until attitude shows up.
Who was they choking with a plastic bag in the Attitude Era?
I mean, they were running over motherfuckers with cars and choke slamming each other off Hell in the Cells. Yeah, come on, bro. Like, I mean, I know you were still in diapers when this happened, but Attitude was meant to be edgy. Hell, ECW in itself, I mean, hello? That's what I'm saying. Everybody wants edgy and attitude and this oomph until it hits up. And that's where it's like, oh, it's too cringe. So it's like, which is it? Because the argument for people watching AEW is what? The number one argument.
It's not. It doesn't resonate with the normal wrestling crowd. It's a niche.
No. The number one thing the AEW fans always say is what? About WWE is what?
Too predictable?
No, too PG.
Yeah.
So that was always the argument. I watch AEW because it's not PG like the WWE. This puck comes out and they're looking like, oh shit, this is a little step too far. But the problem is that they've been doing so much to get your shock factor, you're starting to get desensitized to it.
Which makes them go further and further with bad shit they could do.
Exactly.
Interesting. How many stars you give this one?
I mean, it's Daniel Bryan. I'll give him a solid 3 because he carried Perry the Platypus. Is that what we call it?
Jack Perry the Platypus. Yes.
Perry the Platypus. Yeah, about 3.
I give it 2.5.
Ooh, wow.
Daniel Bryan doing Daniel Bryan shit. I'm assuming this was a 6-star match in Meltzer's eyes.
No, not a 6-star.
5.5.
Nah.
5.
Nah. 4 3/4.
These fucking
That quarter star system fucking you.
It really is, yeah.
That quarter shit is fucking with me right now. Anyways.
Next match, Lights Out.
Speaking of going too far.
Yeah. Lights Out Solid Steel Cage match. Pornstash Page defeated Swivel Strickland with Prince Na Hey Hey Goodbye by knockout in 31 minutes and 30 seconds. Talk about self-mutilation. It says knockout by here, but let's call a spade what it's spade. He won by giving Swerve Strickland AIDS, because that's what it was fucking happened there.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Or some kind of, blood transfusion.
The last match, Paige got hepatitis, and this one, Swerve got AIDS. Like, these are like out of the fucking box bonkers matches, and they don't necessarily need to be. A lot of it was just rehash shit from their last match. I feel like
Yes.
the cage didn't really add anything. It kind of restricted them. With
Bingo. And restricted view. Yes, we're here.
Which is
I'm here with you.
Not great.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like they didn't do what they did do was brutal, but didn't necessarily need to be done. It didn't add anything. It just made it more just how badly can we self-mutilate each other. And then obviously what everybody is talking about, everything that everybody wants to know about. Hangman Page took out a syringe with a needle. He shoved it into Swerve's mouth, into his cheek, and it protruded outwards of his cheek. And then he took a chair shot to the head, which caused a knockout decision by the referee. The syringe spot, most famously used by DJ Hyde and Thumbtack Jack many years ago in a tournament at that. It didn't need to be this. And the needle added nothing to the match. It was literally just to shock people, honestly.
We just went over this, sir.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you. It's getting to the point where it's the flips were cool, but now everybody's doing a flip in their match. So everybody's trying to figure out what can they do to stand out and how far can they go to stand out. And considering the last time these dudes fought, somebody went to Kaiser, and now they really want and this is the problem, because people will, and AEW fans will tell you, well, this isn't PG like WWE, and it's like, well, no common sense parent would put their kids to watching this.
At least WWE knows where that bank is, and that's with the kids.
Well, the bank is with the kids, but the bank is also with investing them emotionally.
Right.
It's more than just, because people, the one thing people understand that they say, well, WWE's PG and the reason that formula is how it's so is because these kids are seeing them as heroes. I can only say that because I have a kid. He looks at John Cena like a hero. John Cena lost at WrestleMania. Fucker was crying for 2 hours straight. That's the investment. Do you see what I'm saying? The investment. John Cena's final WrestleMania match in Vegas, he found out, or he saw it, started crying, and was like, I want to go. Because that's my hero. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's the investment. And this is when we say, like, the moves are good, but without the story, it's just like, and I get, the question I always said is, why are they going back to this after Swerve was already at the mountaintop?
Right.
And that's where I'm having the disconnect, because this easily could have been a Swerve versus Hangman for the title.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. And also keep in mind that Swerve's literally signed like an over six-figure contract maybe like a week ago. He lost to Daniel Bryan in All In, and now he lost to Hangman in All Out, and now he's taking time off after he just signed one of the biggest contracts for somebody that wasn't already a major star. How does that make any sense?
Well, I think they gave him the contract for what he has done instead of what he is going to do.
Answer me this. Who was the good guy and who was the bad guy in this match?
Who was the good guy and who was the bad guy? I couldn't tell you because it really didn't. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It didn't. I mean, a year ago, it would have been Swerve was the bad guy. Hangman was good.
I mean, that's how it started. I mean, he broke.
I get the shade of gray.
Yeah.
It's a shade of gray, but the problem is that this is just violence. It's not even. You see what I'm saying?
Right. There may have been a story leading up to the match, but there was no story actually in the match.
Bingo. And that's where it's like, what is the reason for the callback to this? Because say what you will about the Punk and the McIntyre bracelet, the bracelet was secondary to what the actual story was. And even when Punk got the win back and people thought it was over, McIntyre made you get invested saying, nah, I ain't fucking done. He pulled the Braun Strowman. I'm not finished with you.
Right.
And that is what makes it compelling. Swerve beat Hangman in LA. Why the fuck is... And it ain't like Hangman has just...
Like almost a year ago as well.
Right. And it ain't like Hangman was just not on TV. He was on TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what's throwing me off. Like, why try to circle that? I guess he's trying to do the New Japan callback, but the New Japan callback is a callback once they get the title. Or once that person accomplishes something. And I could see Hangman causing him the championship. Then they go into a feud and this is a blow off. But this isn't even a... If this is the beginning of the feud, where do you go from here?
Right.
And that is where it's like, that's where the lost in translation of the story for me comes from. Not saying that that's not a knock on the wrestlers, because they're just out there doing the best they can to give us an entertainment. It's just the simple fact that the way everything is put together felt like it was just throwing clay on a ball. Because, I mean, as we get into the PWI, are we getting to POWI this episode?
Yes, we are.
Okay, this is going to be a long episode. So, spoiler alert, Swerve was number 2 on PWI. You don't put a person who, to them, the second best wrestler in the world, and have him lose the title on a short title reign, and then lose to Hangman back to back, and then in the manner in which the violence was there. So it's kind of like a trickle down effect to me, and I don't know where they're going to go from there.
Hopefully they don't, if I'm being honest. I hope that this was just it, and we don't see them wrestle ever again, because if they do, God help us to see what they'll do next, because I can't imagine.
Well, the thing is what does Hangman gain from this?
I can't imagine that he isn't going for a title or Brian right now. But
well, that ain't happening because Moxley's about to go after his ass.
Yeah, and then
so that's my point. Like that's where it doesn't make sense. Brian could have got kicked out of the Combat Wombats without the title.
Yeah.
Swerve, I'll put it this way. If it wasn't for CM Punk, Swerve would have the shortest title reign in AEW.
Yeah, what did he hold it for? Like maybe 4 months?
Yeah. I mean, but June? No, May.
Yeah. May sound
He had it May before fucking Double or Nothing.
Yeah, he wanted before
Or was it April?
Yeah, so May, June, July.
So April to
August. Yeah.
So I mean, it's just I don't get what the point is, because now you had you had MJF who had that title. It felt like a year.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a year.
I think it was over a year. It was
and Joe had it for like four to 6 months. It's like every person who's a new champion, the reign is getting shorter.
Well, Joe held it for 5 months. He held it from...
And then Swerve held it for 4 months.
Yeah, Joe was from December to May.
And then Swerve is from May to August.
Yeah. And Brian is...
And Brian is going to be even shorter because he planned on retiring.
Yeah.
So... you see how...
Yeah.
See where this is going? It's. I mean, does that title mean anything? That's one. Two. I don't know. Swerve stock is down right now, and they need to bring it back up. I spent a whole half a year singing "Swerve when I drive," "Swerve when I drive," just for his ass to.
Get beaten twice.
This.
Yeah.
Get this.
How many stars you give this?
Personally, A 2 is generous because, and it's not because of the wrestlers. It's just that no story to hook it in.
I'll go with 2.5. At least, I mean, the shock value at the end was not in a positive thing, but it did catch
somewhere Magic Johnson's like, hold up, player.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what.
I mean, we didn't really touch on him taking an unprotected chair shot to the head either, which is just disgusting as well. But yeah, it wasn't the best. It was nothing that it was not good. Let's say that.
It was dangerous.
Yes, it was very dangerous. I feel like this is over 4 for Dave. Maybe 4.25.
Wait, what? Say that again.
4 quarters.
Give me a definitive number, sir. You say what?
4 quarters and a half.
4.5 quarters?
Yes.
4 full quarters and a half a quarter is what you're saying.
Yes.
4.5 stars.
Four.
That's what he gave it. 4.5 stars.
Okay.
On the money. I think we need to do this for every AEW show.
I'd like to do it for the WWE ones as well.
I mean, does he even rate those?
Of course he does.
Okay, well, fucking let's do it.
He studies this shit.
Tune back in for the next guess that rating at Bad Blood. Yeah,
I think that's the next PLE.
Next PLE.
The show as a whole, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
I mean, thumbs in the middle is generous, and I will give it the middle because it had its spots. The Statlander got me, but it was also very predictable. And it's funny because this is a great PLE to juxtapose with Bash in Berlin, because both of these felt like C-class cards.
But the crowd didn't make this up an A.
Bingo, the crowd didn't uplift it as much. Because this is where I have to give fans, us, the Barry Horowitz pat on the back. We make the match better because when the people in the arena are invested, it makes you want to be invested at home.
Very true. I give it a thumbs down.
Damn, he's like, that's true. Thumbs down. Like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing stood out to me. Nothing made me say, "Oh, I would like to see this over again."
You digested it like Triscuits. I'm just saying.
Yes, but and I wouldn't have had to do it that way if I was fully invested in the shows that they've been doing. But I'm not. So, until they give me for a solid 4 hours to sit my ass down and watch nothing but AEW, then, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But I'm not there.
All right.
That will conclude our coverage of AEW All In or All Out.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.